Welcome to What Women Want Show, everyone, hosted by me, Judy Goss, and my co-host is here, Kristin West. Have
Hello.
you dropped off the resolution bandwagon? Uh-oh. And if not, did you use a resolution? And if you didn't, how are you staying motivated in your business and your life? We're talking to you out there, okay? We have some hot tips to deal with the resolution solution for 2019. Okay, this is all about you and how we can really rise to our best success and stick with those goals and dreams. Our show is How's 2019 Working Out for you so far? It's a hot topic, and we have an even hotter guest to give us some golden nuggets of information. I'm so excited to keep you on track with your dreams. We want to thank you for listening out there. It's been 5 years and 1.5 million downloads, and we are so excited. And tonight we're kicking off our show with a jewelry giveaway from Dune Jewelry. Yeah, over $300 value, this beautiful necklace and earring set. Oh my gosh, we posted it on Facebook and all over the place. All you have to do is comment below, make it nice, and you'll be automatically entered to win a drawing for Dune Jewelry. Gorgeous earrings and necklace. The whole premise of Dune Jewelry is putting that vacation sand into your jewelry timepiece so you can keep it around your neck, on your wrist, anywhere on your body forever. I got to hold it way up here, 3 bracelets with places where I've been and places where I'm going to go, actually, and a charm necklace. I love Dune Jewelry. I'm not paid to say this. They're giving away a big surprise tonight, so it's very nice. Now, a lot of you know I started way back when as a high fashion model with Ford New York, and I made my way to the other side of the camera by becoming a magazine editor. And after the publishing world, I started my TV career. And I'm a host for AWE's Behind the Gates. And we just wrapped the 2nd season last month. Actually, last month. It's already February, my gosh. We just wrapped the 2nd season in December. And I'm also a regular contributor on NBC and Fox, an author for St. Martin's Press, and an entrepreneur. I founded the company What Women Want Networking and Conference 8 years ago. And I'm also a mom of twin teenage girls. My is our household exciting. Kristin, talk about exciting. You're involved with so many things. Tell us about you.
Well, actually, talking about wrapping up seasons of TV shows, we just wrapped up the 2nd season of Horror Talk with Kristin West, which is my talk show for the horror fan community. And of course, I've been on the air with you. Do you know, Judy, it's like our 2nd anniversary now.
I know. Actually, I thought it was our 3rd. I feel like we've been together forever, Kristin.
I know. We're starting on year 3. We're starting on year 3. I love it. I love you.
Nice.
And
I love you too.
Just acting. It's pilot season here in LA right now. It's a busy time for us. And I'm also working with some of our favorite streaming apps like TikTok, UpLive, Vigo, and going into short form content. It's a really exciting time for me. And of course, I love being here week after week too.
And it's time to rake in some more awards for some even more films and all the hosting and everything that you do. So that's absolutely wonderful. Well, I am wondering how to improve my Kristin, you and I talked about this resolution solution. I don't know why I named it that title because I can never say it. But the point is that are we sticking with our resolutions? Do we make a resolution? I am fascinated with this topic because last year, as you know, I made about 5 resolutions and they all came true. I really, made a point to make it happen. But this year I didn't make one. So I'm a little nervous. I don't know how to handle it. And we have Cathryn Marshall coming on to talk about it. Cathryn, I'm going to bring her in now from the green room on the broadcast. She's the CEO of Simple Fat Burn. Yes, and the national director for What Women Want Networking. And not only is she a 20-year leader and expert in the fitness industry, she's also an author, speaker, and a motivator for sure. Welcome, Cathryn.
Well, thanks for having me. Hey there, Kristin. Hey, Judy.
Oh my gosh,
Hi,
we're so excited to have you, right, Kristin? I just don't understand why people get so idealistic at the beginning of the year and think that they are going to do all of these incredible things, and then we lose motivation. It's only 5 weeks later.
Oh, it's so true. And I think this has been going on for years, but we're always hopeful. And the masses say we've got to make goals, we've got to make some New Year's resolutions, but I think we shoot a little bit high. And I think sometimes our expectations are unrealistic given the reality of our circumstances.
That is for sure. And I want to remind everybody to make those comments on Facebook, enter to win our jewelry giveaway, plus ask this incredible expert that you have on air right now, live, how you can deal with, accomplishing your dreams and goals. And, I started out the year picking one word. Cathryn, you and I have talked about this at length.
Extensively.
Extensively, that's right. I thought you said expensively for a minute. I was like, it didn't cost me any money, but it might soon, because you give really valuable advice, and everything you said so far works. So what is that magic pill that we can take to keep ourselves motivated?
Oh gosh. Well, I think when you're going to put out to do something new for the year, you've got to really focus on it. And you also have to put out something that's realistic. And then the real secret is in the baby steps, in focusing on just a little bit of progress. And you've got to keep your mind positive about it. And then you've got to take some action steps. So we keep thinking it's going to happen overnight. Like one day we're going to go to the door and the prize just shows up. But the truth is, it takes hard work. It takes focus. Sometimes it takes letting go of certain things to make space for the new things. And, it's fascinating. I looked at a study, and what they said is the number one New Year's resolution was to save money. Now, that surprised me. And the number two resolution is what everybody thinks about, is to lose weight. So if that's what the masses are thinking about, if that's what the masses are putting out for, but we know most people are not successful, the real question is, where are we missing the boat? And I think it's in the reality check. I really do.
Kristin, what do you think? I think you're right. It's a bit of a compromise. It's, I want to save money. Well, does that mean I want to save millions of dollars? I want to lose weight. Am I going to lose 200 pounds? I mean, we really have to come, to some sort of compromise with ourselves and what's reality. Kristin, what do you think? Kristin, did we lose Kristin? I can't hear her.
I can't either.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So Cathryn, let's keep on talking with that compromise. Now, we're taught to shoot for our dreams, right? To make them the biggest goals that we can, to reach for the stars, and shoot for the moon, and then you land in the stars. So what do you mean by not really I guess compromising with ourselves? It doesn't sound right.
Yeah. I think where we really lose traction is people just don't have a plan. And by a plan, I mean something realistic where you can take a little step and you've got support. Because let's face it, I mean, January comes, it's cold, it's dark. You're not only tired, you're exhausted. And you think all of a sudden you're going to hit the gym for 2 hours, you're going to clean up your diet after the holidays, and your situation is still the same. So, what I found is when people build in things like support partners, accountability partners, maybe a trainer or a coach, or people that they're actually talking to who are supportive. I mean, if your significant other says, hey, let's grab a pizza, and I'm not getting up, but you go ahead and do it, hun, it's just not realistic that you're going to get much traction.
Now, I have a question for you. If we're not succeeding so far in what we've set out for our goals for 2019, or we've given up already on our resolutions, should we go back and change them? Should we modify them? How does that work?
Yeah, I don't think
I was told to kind of keep working until you succeed, right? But sometimes you're just kind of digging yourself a hole.
Well, but what we find out is that most people fail many, many times before they're successful. And what I love to look at is take a look at the people who have struggled, then they've been successful, and they did it. And I really believe if someone else has done it, you can do it too. You might not have the formula for you yet. If you're really going to tap into that motivation, you've got to look at a scenario and say, gosh, what can I do? Even though this hasn't been working, what went right? And what I find so many times is people just don't give themselves credit when they're doing the groundwork. They're not seeing the results yet, but it's like that boiling point. We've heard it again and again. You just need to go a little bit further and don't give up. Take a look at what's going right. And put your eyes there. And before you know it, it expands. And I love that you said you had 5 things last year and they happened for you.
They did. And you know what? I found myself beating myself up. I think it was 2 weeks ago on the show for not reaching high enough because I accomplished my goals. And talk about not giving myself credit. Oh my gosh, it's terrible.
Yeah. And I think we do beat ourselves up when things aren't going fast enough. But globally, universally, it's never fast enough. We all want it yesterday. And,
That's true.
when you look at the success of a business, many times women have put in years. There is no such thing as an overnight success. And you and I know from the women that we deal with that there's a lot of hard work that goes on for years and years and years before some of it starts to go right. So I think the real secret is in looking at the successful people, looking at yourself, giving yourself credit for the work that you're doing, and then really celebrating the small wins. I think that's where we really get some traction. So one of the tips that I want to give is you can get a notepad, and I like to keep one right in the kitchen, and just start writing down all of the things that go right. All of the good things that happen. Oh, there you go. All of the
Sharpie, so I can't
that you're doing with a Sharpie. But if you're looking at what goes right, we've got to keep the mind and the spirit positive most of the time.
Okay, so I want to give a little shout out to the people commenting now on Facebook and all of you that are watching out there. That's why I keep looking down and away, because I'm looking at my phone here to see what you're saying. So we want to start with, oh my gosh, this is great. You guys are so wonderful, and thank you so much for your support. Lucy Brummett is saying hello, and Saccone. Congratulations thank you so much for our 2-year, Kristin and I together 2 years. Our show is here for 5 years. Cathryn makes all her dreams come true. And Saccone. Now, doesn't that put a certain amount of pressure on you, Cathryn, sometimes when people are saying that about you?
It doesn't. It really makes me feel good because, I have struggled in the past and with pretty much every area of life. And when people hear me tell my story, it's real. I really struggled and I figured it out. But the way I figured it out was I got help. I talked to people. I asked for help. I hired coaches, trainers, mentors. I just kept showing up. So if they say, hey, we see how you've succeeded, we watched you grow and change over the years, it thrills me. I think if anything, it fuels me to keep going and just to really connect with our members in What Women Want, our viewers, our friends, the people out there in social media that we're really here to inspire. It just brings me a lot of joy.
Well, it's bringing Ann Saccone a lot of joy because she says that you're so inspiring, which I totally agree with her. And Lucy Brummett is saying sometimes what goes wrong can get you to what will go right eventually. That's a good one. Melissa Matthews Sachs. Amen. She's agreeing with us. And of course, James Wright is watching, and I'm sure he agrees with everything you're saying too. Yeah, so the hardest part, in my opinion, is failing. And I always say you don't make any mistakes as long as you learn from them.
True.
But when you are in that moment and in that place of everything's going wrong, how do you turn the perspective so that you're looking at things in a more positive light? And I know that's a very general question. It depends on what's going wrong. And after this, I want to know specifics of what you were struggling with, because you kind of glossed over that. I want to dig deep into that after you answer this question. I'm putting Kristin back on. Hello, hold on. We're going to get Kristin right back on here. She fell off. And hi, Kristin.
Hi.
Talking about actionable goals scared me so much I disappeared. I'm sorry.
Oh, I thought it was the failures. Okay. Go ahead, Cathryn.
All right. So when you're in those moments of really feeling the pain of a failure, of something that went horribly wrong. So let me give an example. You go to host a new class or an event, and you've put your all into it and nobody shows up. What you really need to do is know that this is a stepping stone, and it's part of growing and what I call paying your dues to get where you're going to go. And when things go horribly wrong, you really have to embrace this concept. And the concept is that everything is for your higher good. In the big scheme of things, in the big whole picture, when you've put out your best and something went totally wrong, it's a piece of the puzzle. And you have to trust that what's going on is it's a lesson. It's just part of paying your dues. I mean, nobody jumps out there and they're an expert at building events or building a home or a family or whatever. So you start to trust that this is really, in the big scheme, it's good for you, even though it doesn't feel like it.
So I want to know, so Kristin, when you
don't stay
when
there,
you were gone,
emotionalizing with failure and defeat and despair.
Right. So Kristin, I want to catch her up quickly. You know, when you had dropped off there for a little bit, I asked Cathryn what she went through that she was struggling with. She said in every aspect of her life, because people really don't know the real story behind Cathryn Marshall. And there's Farrah Vaughn came on and she said, you know, you've changed my life in so many ways. And you've changed so many people's lives in so many ways, and everybody sees you as an inspiration and kind of like Miss Perfect a little bit in a way, right? You help everybody with everything. What have you gone through that was so horrible in your life that you learned so much from?
Oh, gosh. You know, it's only been this year that I really have embraced when I went through severe financial problems. I mean, I went through a divorce. I was in court for 10 years. If you can imagine going back and forth to the courthouse where they thought I was an attorney and I was actually the plaintiff or the defendant. I know it hurts, but you know what? I was raising my son by myself and I was in really severe financial turmoil for many years. And, you know, many of us remember the pain of 2008, but you can imagine being a fitness professional when all of my income was coming from personal training, everybody canceled. I mean, everybody.
That's the first thing that goes.
Yeah. So not only was I in court, I was trying to support a young child. I was trying to maintain a household. And if my stress level on a scale of 1 to 10 was normally a 16 for months, if not years on end, because of the court cases and the finances, that would probably be an understatement. But, you know, I got through it. I got to the other side of it. And I just kept showing up. I worked really hard. I learned some hard financial lessons. I learned not to overextend myself on credit. You know, times were great before 2008. That kind of rhymes. And then, you know, I really hit this stretch that I thought would never end. I thought it would never end, but it did end. And I did learn those lessons, and I did dig my way out of debt. So, you know, I learned so many lessons along the way, and I hope no one has to go through what I went through with those stress levels for years on end, wondering, can I pay my bills? Am I not going to have a place to live? You know, at one point, my car got repoed. I got it back.
Oh, no.
But I remember my best friend, she said, oh, you know what? You can just take my car. I'll figure it out. And I thought, who does that? She needs her car, right? So, but I kept showing up. I kept smiling. I kept doing my job. It always looked pretty good on the outside. But on the inside, you know, I really struggled. And I struggled with building a business. I struggled with, you know, coming on the other side of divorce and financial peril. And, you know, what I can say now is it made me so resilient. It made me so strong. It made me be the inspiring person that I am today. And to, you know, I studied spiritually. I studied so many books and practices because that was my grounding when I was going through tough times. So, you know, I just want to encourage the people. Most people out there are going through something. They've got loved ones that are struggling. They're you know, struggling with building a business or finances or relationships. I've struggled with all of the above. But what I can tell you is there is light at the end of the tunnel. And you have to keep elevating your thought process, and you have to keep surrounding yourself with people who are really going to be what you want to become. So I'm a big believer in leveling up and meeting new people. I started to meet professional women. I started to really get into networking. I started to meet authors and speakers, and pretty soon I became one of those people. But it wasn't always like this.
So, Kristin, now that you're back on, let us know what you think.
Well, I feel you, Cathryn. I mean, I think sometimes pain and dealing with the pain of life it's what grows us. And you know all too well is to get a muscle to grow, you got to rip it up. You got to tear it.
Oh, yeah.
How do you coach people like you do to really push past their comfort zone and kind of get past their pain and into that growth space? I'm curious about that.
Yeah, that's a great question. So the way that I coach people, we're really listening for belief systems. So when you're talking to someone, they're struggling, you're sort of getting who they are, what they're about. And I'm always listening for the why. And by the why, I mean the higher purpose. Maybe I have someone.
And I just want to interject here. I'm sorry, I want to interrupt because you do come from a social work background. So this isn't something that you learned from training people necessarily. I'm sure you did learn, but you do have a social work background. So this is really speaking from many different perspectives of experience.
Yes, absolutely. And with a social work background, we learn from case studies and role playing. That's how and just to give you a little bit of the backstory. So when you're in school, like we do hours and hours and hours of learning, how do we get inside the fiber of what a person's belief system is, what their value system is, and really tapping into where the emotion is. And then we connect what they want with taking a small step. But sometimes that small step can lead through to a massive breakthrough.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. Because I think sometimes, and people's values shift too. You're not the same person you are in your 20s as you are in your 30s, as you progress through life, and people's values shift, and as they shift, what they're pursuing changes. I guess another question I had is sometimes we're going through those resolutions, we're trying to make progress, and then we slip up maybe a few days or two, or life hits us and we slip up for a few weeks or even a few months. There's a death in the family, you're going through a difficult patch in your relationship. How do you buoy up a person who really has gone kind of askew with their goals? How does someone bring themselves back to the path? What are some of the tips you use?
Yeah, that's a great question because, I think part of it is getting very, very clear about what you want to materialize. Number one, I think you've got to have clarity. So you've got to really get it down on paper and then give yourself a pass as needed. So let's say we call those bolts from the blue. Something happens in life. You're like, whoa, I did not see that coming. Maybe somebody dies. Maybe you have an extreme upset with your work situation. Maybe you have I have one friend, one of our members, and the basement caved in her home. Now that cost her entire retirement. Now that's a bolt from the blue that hurts on all levels, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. So you give yourself a pass for a period of time. And then you start back with a baby step. The biggest problem people have is they want to do it all overnight. It's like you go on vacation, you haven't worked out for 6 months, you hit the hard workout, and you pull a muscle. It doesn't work.
The universe slaps right back down. And I'm glad you brought that up because, when you do go through something traumatic and you turn around to take that baby step, it doesn't have to be big, and it shouldn't be, because again, you're building up those muscles that you haven't used, and you need to celebrate, as we spoke before. And that's one of the biggest, I think, biggest things I've learned probably in the past 5 years or so. And digging into spirituality and self-help and what I can do to better myself is to celebrate those moments, look back long enough to see where you came from. Don't just keep reaching in front of you and trying to do more and more.
Yeah, that's a big success concept to celebrate all wins. And I mean, really celebrate them. Give yourself a high five, pat on the back, write it down, share it. You know, I had a big goal and I might be celebrating that goal for months.
I love it. So what is one of your biggest takeaways from this conversation of having gone 5 weeks into the new year, and people were rearing and ready to go, you know, at the start of the new year, and now that they're kind of lagging and they don't feel like they are getting anywhere, you know, it's been 5 weeks, but you know what? It's been 5 weeks. We should be getting somewhere. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I will say the biggest takeaway is number one, you are getting somewhere because you put it out there, because you've taken even some small steps, any amount of effort. Give yourself credit. Is a little bit that you've done, give yourself some credit. You are getting somewhere. And then, you know, I'm just a big believer in getting with other people that are supportive and growing your team. I mean, like, our people that are commenting, our people that are giving us a high five, even here on this show. You've got
I'm about to read some more. Yeah, go ahead. I didn't want to cut you off. I just am so excited about the comments. Okay, here I go. Araya McGarry, thank you for watching us today. Over, under, around, or through, she said. You can judge a woman by the size of the obstacle it takes to stop her. Be unstoppable, and you are, Cathryn Marshall. These women love you, as do I. Jane Madigan is on. Jane Madigan, make sure you comment there to get into the jewelry giveaway. We're going to be announcing the winner Friday afternoon, but if you comment right now and you're watching live, you will be automatically entered into the drawing with our jewelry giveaway from Dune Jewelry. Okay, we have the hard stuff is what got me where I am today. Being online and all, resilience is definitely what has kept me going. Lucy Brummett. Oh my gosh, we got a lot of fans out there, don't we? I love all the positive talk. And what time is it? Oh my gosh, time flies when we're with Cathryn, doesn't it, Kristin?
Oh, it does, but I love it. I love flying with Cathryn. Oh my goodness, I love it.
I love flying with both of you.
That's great. Well, Cathryn, you have something coming up on March 2nd, and I am going to I'm having a little technical issue here, so I'm going to take myself off for 1 minute. I want you to tell everyone what's coming up March 2nd, why that day is so special.
Sure. So March 2nd in Atlanta, Georgia, I am hosting a one-day event called Health is Wealth. So you can find it on my website, simplefatburn.com, under the events tab, but it's a one-day event and it really is about leaping to the next level. And I really believe that health is all of the above: mental, physical, emotional, social, financial, and spiritual. But especially the nutrition and fitness part, again, baby steps, but baby steps can lead up to a quantum leap in what you're trying to materialize. So I'm really excited to be hosting this event, and it's coming up on Saturday, March 2nd in Atlanta, Georgia. So early bird tickets are still on sale as we're taping this, and I'm just excited. We're going to have 40 people in the room who are ready to leap to the next level.
Awesome. I love it. And like, isn't that great how I can just kind of make myself appear right at the right time again?
I love it.
It's magic.
We almost just had a complete power implosion, Kristin.
We did. I love it. We're going to use that to power our goals and keep moving upward and forward. I love it.
That is true. So go to simplefatburn.com to hear more from Cathryn Marshall. She's having this incredible event March 2nd. Cathryn, I just want to fly down there and go to this event. It sounds so amazing.
Well, you should. I know I'll see you soon at Araya McGarry.
I know. Well, you know what? Araya McGarry's been commenting, and I am coming to Atlanta next for Araya McGarry's Live Your Legacy Summit, okay? And I am so proud and honored to be a speaker at her summit. Kristin, you should try to come to Atlanta before November.
I know. We're going to put it out there and see what we can manifest. How about that?
I love it. And, James wants to know if he can win some jewelry.
He can win, but I'm going to opt out of this contest, so I don't know what he's going to do with it.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Cathryn, for coming on the show tonight and for imparting your glorious wisdom every time you're in. Like everyone says, you are so inspiring. And Kristin, it's funny. I asked her the other day, I said, Cathryn, it seems like you're always there for everybody. And I know you are, because I've heard a lot of women talk about it and a lot of things you've done for all of us. And I don't understand how you can still be there for yourself. So that's another conversation that I think we have to have with Cathryn on another show.
Another topic we'll get on another day. But Kristin and Judy, thank you so much for having me back on the show. It's always a pleasure. I love sharing some wisdom that we've acquired over the years with our viewers, and it's just always an honor. So thank you.
Well, we love having you, and I don't know, but I feel pumped up and ready to go. Don't you, Judy? You want to attack those resolutions a little more after we get off the show?
Yeah, I think I need another 5 weeks.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't you find when you are going through it, when you're starting a new project, again, it takes so long to get that first step moving sometimes that it's really hard to keep going. Right? I mean, I feel like it's just something inside me that keeps saying, oh, it's taking so long. You know what? Just pay attention to the tasks that you've always done and be content and be happy and kind of stay a little more stagnant so you don't drive yourself crazy. You probably get the same thing because you have so many creative ideas and so much going on.
It's hard to build. It's hard to build momentum. It's hard to sustain momentum. And it's also when you've invested a lot of time and energy into something, whether it's a person, whether it's a project, whether it's a business, whatever it is. Sometimes you also, I guess, from a sort of a more Taoist Zen perspective, sometimes you also have to know what to let go of and when, and why you're letting go of something. So it's a very kind of delicate balance, and you have to really have very honest communication with yourself, and ultimately, I believe, your higher power, whatever that is, also, so that you're living the life that you're meant to live.
Got to have that faith, right? And Lucy Brummett says she can totally relate. I love that. It's nice to hear stories, especially from Cathryn Marshall this evening, where she was talking about what she went through, the specifics of it. My gosh, this girl was in court for 10 years and went through so much upheaval with the divorce and raising a kid on her own, and then the financial, traumas. It's hard to believe, I guess, when you look at someone like Cathryn Marshall and think, my gosh, she went through all of that. And here she is today. And that's what's so inspiring about our show, What Women Want. So I hope 2019 is working out great for you so far. Speaking of Araya McGarry, I think we have her on the show next week. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. Talk about inspiring. Araya McGarry is awesome. She's an Emmy award-winning TV host. And everyone, I hope you keep up with us on social. Share this post. Share the show if you liked it. Again, give a comment out. Throw a comment out on there to be entered into the Dune Jewelry giveaway. We're announcing the winner Friday afternoon. So if you're listening to the replay right now, you can still enter the comment if it's before Friday, February 8th at 3 p.m. Okay? 3 p.m. Eastern. Let's make it. So 12 p.m. Pacific. And, Kristin, I just would love everybody to go to whatwomenwantbroadcast.com to listen to some of our archives. And, of course, YouTube, because we're on video now. We used to be radio. It's very exciting.
And also, sometimes you don't have time to watch a video. We're also on iHeartRadio and Google Play and iTunes. So catch us in your car. Catch us as you're cooking your dinner. Catch us as you're tidying up the house. Catch us as you're chasing your kids around the playground. Whatever it is, we're here for you.
Good point, Kristin. Thank you for bringing that up. We do have our audio archives all on iHeart and iTunes and Google Play. So with that, happy February 6th, and we hope to see you next week. Again, same here, same bat place, same bat channel with Araya McGarry, and have a good week, everyone, in the meantime. Bye.
Bye.
Mwah.